Hi guys! Ooh. What's up? It's your favorite mystic, the Siren Sims, back at it again with another Wednesday video. I want this to be my last one, but it might not be because I kind of want to make a separate video about Xavier because y'all are doing a little bit too much. But for right now, it's probably going to be my second to last video until the new season comes out or I feel talking about something else. So this is going to be in direct contrast with my last video, second to last video. This is about the love triangle debacle. So I knew of asexual people. I was kind of aware that they could be gay or bi, but what I was trying to get across is that there is a spectrum of sexuality where someone is not attracted to anyone at all. And I think what got lost in translation, because I didn't explain it properly, which is my fault and I apologize, is that I made it seem like asexual people on a whole are not attracted to anybody. And I'm gonna check back the video to see if I said something that probably made it sound that explicitly. If so, not my intention. Apologies. Let me just say what I was trying to say now that I have better words to explain it, and then I'll go into my actual thoughts on the love triangle debacle, because before I didn't really give my full thoughts. I gave like, well, these two sides are dumb because this is the way, and I didn't really explain how I felt about it as a whole. Like, if I were to pick sides, which side would I pick and why? So when I said that she was asexual or aromantic, what I meant was that I don't really see her being overly romantic at all. I don't see her as being regular straight or regular gay or regular bi, right? She's obviously on the spectrum. The same way she's obviously neurodivergent. Now that we have, the language for that, now we can say that. I feel like she's obviously on the spectrum. Personally, in my own little headcanon, I don't really see her with anyone, to be honest. And it's weird coming from me because I'm a romance girl. I used to read romance books by the ton. Like when I was 14, I would go through 20 books a week. Yeah, big and small. No. Small books, like about 40 pages each. I go through like 20 romance books a week, and a third of them will be romance or YA novels, which are usually romance with a bit of drama or action. So yeah, like I'm all about the romance. I love me a good ship. But when I see Wednesday, and she is my favorite character in the show, okay? When I see Wednesday, I don't think about, ooh, who should Wednesday be with? I don't think of that. Even if it means that, let's say the show gets put on for like 6 seasons and like we get to see a slow progression of her finding her sexuality until like season 5 and she finally chooses someone of either gender. That's more plausible to me than her just falling in love with anyone, Tyler or Enid excluded. Doesn't matter to me. So that is why I was perplexed that people were even putting her with anybody, because personally she doesn't seem like the type that would be with anyone at all. Perhaps asexual was not the right terminology at all, and once again, let me just say that I'm sorry about that, because I shouldn't have spoken on something unless I knew what I was talking about when it comes to something like this. If it's a regular TV show and you're just having your opinion, that's fine, but if you're bringing real world context into it, you have to do a little research just to make sure, but yeah, when it comes to Wednesday, I just really didn't see her with anybody, when it comes to Wednesday, that's why I said possibly aromantic, because with an aromantic person, it's not really sexual. It does not have anything to do with sex. It just means that they don't The romance thing, they just don't get that. They just don't. They just don't get into the romance thing. They might make out with somebody, have, an attachment to them sort of, and have sex, but like they're not going to be romantic. That's probably more what they're trying to convey with Wednesday, but who knows. Now I want to get into the other side of this, which is that it kind of seems like people wanted to tell me that she could be straight or bi because they wanted to dive into the argument of which side was right or wrong. Now, in my personal opinion, I feel like both sides were wrong. But that's only in my personal opinion, only because, the person said under my video, my Wednesday, okay, don't date nobody. My Wednesday dates the books, the knowledge, the adventure. Like, she don't be thinking about no niggas. She don't be thinking about no bitches. She don't be thinking about nobody. She thinks about herself. And that's one of the reasons why I brought up that I was very disappointed in the show. Not really the show, but like the way it was framed. Like, she was a loner in a sea of loners, an outcast in a sea of outcasts. And while that's an interesting premise, I didn't really like it. Now, I'm not saying that, everybody would have been so much like her that she would have made friends with people immediately, because maybe that would have been outside of her character as well. But just the idea that nobody was accepting her for who she was until the very last second, like they had to be forced to accept her for who she was, or forced to see that who she is okay because it's helping them. Enid became more accepting. I'm gonna say this, and it might sound negative about Enid, but take it as you want, right? Enid accepted Wednesday more after she got the poke up. So it's like, once she saw how, oh, she's not just snarky, she could be of use to me, then all of a sudden she became more friendly. You know what I mean? And nobody wanted to look at it like that because they just ship Enid with Wednesday. One of the reasons why I didn't have that much of an issue with Tyler is simply because he wasn't necessarily, before we find out who he is, right? Because once you find out who he is, nothing really matters. But before you find out who this guy is, he doesn't really seem to be using her at all. He doesn't really want to know anything. He's just always there for her, and that's just it. I appreciated that. And you know what? I'm not going to make a video about Xavier. I'm just going to bring it up here. With Xavier, I didn't think she should have been with him. And that's just because I just don't think they need to be together. I don't think he's an incel, like some of y'all who are upset that he was even an option were saying. Like, damn. Is that what a bias sounds like? Jesus. But when it comes to Wednesday, I don't really see her with men or women. But I will admit, probably gonna get some dislikes for this, I didn't mind the Tyler thing. It wasn't, I didn't see the Tyler thing and be like, ugh, she just, the same way the people who wanted her to be gay, like, threw up every time that they saw her and Tyler on the screen. I wasn't watching her and throwing up every time she acted with people and be like, oh, she should be alone. There should be no romance with her at all. Like, no, like, shows like this, they're gonna add it in. It would have been really cool if they didn't. There are certain shows where they're not adding in romance where they need to. They're trying to be different, and it's annoying me. But this is actually one of the shows where I think it would have been warranted for somebody not to be too romantically inclined. But I will say this about the Tyler situation, and this is pre-Hyde. I thought the fact that he was a bully before, so she could relate to that, which is very interesting because she doesn't necessarily like bullies, but I think she could relate to his darker side. She liked him because of that. He understood her well enough to plan, in her words, well, in her opinion, almost a perfect date. I think everybody kind of overlooked that because they think he's boring or they don't want to see him with her. But obviously the show had so much to point on that we couldn't spend enough time on him. But I think they did actually a pretty decent job making the idea of those two make sense. And really it doesn't make that much sense because, like I said, I don't really think Wednesday is into people like that. But if she were, I could see her falling for a dark, mysterious guy with a bad past who so happens to cater to her needs. I remember I saw somebody say that they could see her being with a guy if like she was the dominant one and he just did whatever she wanted. Kind of like what happens with Gomez and Morticia, but like with her being way more of a dominant person and the guy, I don't know, something like her parents, but like a hybrid of it, where it's different but it's similar in terms of like the devotion that Gomez has for Morticia. And I actually kind of agree with that, because here's the thing, guys. Let's say she gets with a girl. So what? like I said before, the way that Hollywood is set up, Jenny can say, I want her to be gay. She can say that. And maybe if you want to leave in hope for yourselves, you can say that she didn't say that because she didn't want to spoil anything. And maybe next season there will be a rainbow flag subplot between Wednesday and Enid or something. Well, it can't be Enid because Enid and Ajax are going strong or whatever. And y'all, honestly, I hate Enid and Ajax. I'm telling you, I didn't really ship. Like, I know you guys didn't really watch the first video, like the last 1 hour long video, but to be honest, I didn't ship anybody. Like, what is there to ship? Like, it was all just like, I kind of was okay with her and Tyler, but apart from that, there was just nothing else to ship. Nothing else at all. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of all I wanted to say. My ending thoughts are that I just don't really see her with anybody. And to be honest, for her to be with somebody, they have to take it slow. And they have to write it really well for me to be like, okay, this without a doubt makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? But I do apologize for using asexual in the wrong context. But that was just the closest word I could use to convey my thoughts, unfortunately. Yeah. So everybody in the comments who was saying what asexuality really is and what aromantic really is, it's like for some reason I forgot, you know, because I've seen shows like I just talked about Heartbreak High. Cash wasn't and I was talking about how happy I was that he was asexual, even though he still liked Darren, but it didn't even click to me. You know, sometimes you're just not thinking with all of your brain, you're just kind of talking in the moment. That video was me talking in the moment, so I definitely wasn't talking out of sitting down writing and making sure everything hits a point, you know. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it for right now. I had to make an update because people kind of just hung up on the fact that I wasn't allowing her to want people. She can want whoever she wants. The show is already out. You can see that she likes guys. Maybe she'll also like women later. We don't know. Alright. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. See you in the next one. I'm setting up for a lot of videos to come. Anyways, goodbye, Simmies. Sue.